Success starts the moment you take yourself seriously. Not when life gives you a break, not when you feel ready, and not when motivation shows up. It starts when you decide to treat your time, your choices, and your goals as real priorities. Most people drift through life, letting distractions, opinions, and excuses control them. They want better results, but never act in ways that match the life they imagine. Taking yourself seriously is about holding yourself accountable, making decisions that reflect your worth, and showing up consistently for your own growth. It is about creating habits that actually move you forward, protecting your time from things and people that drain you, and learning in ways that immediately improve your life. In this video, you will discover how to build a system around yourself that creates progress every day. Every choice, every action, and every habit matters. The moment you start acting with seriousness toward yourself is the moment real success begins. Chapter 1. Take yourself seriously by showing up fully for your own life. Success begins the moment you start treating yourself with the seriousness you deserve. Most people go through life casually, drifting from one day to the next, expecting opportunity to find them, hoping someone will notice their effort, or waiting for motivation to appear. This approach never works. Real progress, real achievement, and real fulfillment come when you decide to show up fully for your own life. It starts with a choice to treat yourself as valuable, to honor your own potential, and to stop settling for less than you are capable of achieving. Every action you take, every decision you make, must reflect the respect you have for your own goals and aspirations. This is not about being perfect. It is about being deliberate, consistent, and accountable to yourself every day. Taking yourself seriously begins with commitment. Commitment is more than a promise. It is a personal agreement that you will act with purpose and integrity. When you commit to showing up fully, you stop giving yourself excuses. You stop telling yourself that circumstances are against you or that you are not ready. You understand that readiness comes through action, not waiting. Showing up fully means dedicating time, energy, and focus to what matters most to you consistently, even when it feels inconvenient or uncomfortable. This consistency is what builds trust in yourself. Every time you follow through, you reinforce your own reliability and signal to your mind that your goals are worthy of effort. Respect for yourself is another cornerstone. When you take yourself seriously, you start treating your time, energy, and decisions with care. You stop spending hours on meaningless distractions. You stop tolerating situations, relationships, or habits that drain you or pull you away from your priorities. You set boundaries and protect your focus. This is not arrogance, it is self-respect. When you respect yourself, you naturally demand more from your life. You refuse to settle for mediocrity, and you stop waiting for permission from others to pursue your own path. The level of seriousness you give to yourself defines the level of success you can achieve. Action becomes intentional when you show up fully. You do not move through life on autopilot, letting events dictate your outcomes. Instead, you decide what matters and align your daily actions to serve those priorities. This requires awareness, reflection, and planning. Start each day with a clear idea of what you want to accomplish and why it matters. Break down your goals into specific steps and approach each step with full focus. Treat every small task as a meaningful contribution to your larger vision. When you act intentionally, momentum begins to build, and your life starts to move in a deliberate, powerful direction. Accountability plays a huge role. Showing up fully means being accountable to yourself. You cannot rely on others to enforce your commitments or to push you to act. You must monitor your progress, evaluate your choices, and take responsibility for your results. When you fall short, you analyze why and adjust. You do not blame circumstances, luck, or other people. Accountability transforms excuses into lessons and failures into opportunities to strengthen your habits and resolve. Over time, this self-accountability becomes a habit that supports sustained growth and achievement. Confidence grows naturally when you take yourself seriously. Most people lack confidence because they have not consistently proven to themselves that they are reliable and capable. Every time you follow through on your own commitments, you reinforce your self-belief. You begin to trust your own judgment, your own effort, and your own capacity to achieve. This inner confidence drives bolder decisions, stronger actions, and greater persistence. You start seeing yourself as someone who can handle challenges, overcome obstacles, and reach goals because you have a track record of proving it to yourself. Energy management is another critical aspect. Showing up fully requires that you take care of your mind and body. You cannot give your best effort if you are exhausted, distracted, or unfocused. Prioritize rest, nutrition, and mental clarity. Recognize what energizes you and what drains you, and make conscious choices to preserve and direct your energy toward meaningful work. The seriousness with which you approach yourself includes the care you take to maintain the capacity to act consistently and effectively. A person who treats themselves seriously protects their energy as fiercely as their time. Decision-making changes when you commit to yourself. Every choice matters because your future depends on the accumulation of decisions made each day. Showing up fully means considering the long-term consequences of your actions and aligning them with your priorities. You begin to filter options, saying no to what does not serve your growth and yes to what advances your goal. Indecision and procrastination lose their power because you treat yourself as someone who deserves clarity, focus, and consistent progress. Seriousness toward yourself creates a mental framework for prioritization and smart choices. Resilience develops naturally when you are serious about yourself. Life will challenge you, test your resolve, and introduce setbacks. People who do not take themselves seriously give up at the first sign of difficulty. Those who do show up fully understand that obstacles are part of the process, not a reason to quit. Resilience is built by repeatedly confronting discomfort, facing challenges, and continuing to act despite fear, doubt, or temporary failure. Each experience strengthens your mental toughness and reinforces your commitment to your own life. Growth becomes inevitable. When you show up fully, every day becomes an opportunity to improve. You seek knowledge, skills, and experiences that expand your abilities. You observe your habits, refine your actions, and embrace continuous learning. This mindset transforms ordinary routines into pathways for long-term success. Showing up fully is not just about effort, it is about direction. Effort without direction is wasted energy. Seriousness toward yourself provides clarity, focus, and purpose, making every action meaningful and every day productive. Self-respect and personal standards define the boundaries of your life. You start measuring success not by external validation, but by whether you are honoring yourself. Each promise kept, each responsibility embraced, and each commitment followed builds a stronger sense of integrity. People notice when you take yourself seriously because you hold yourself to standards that are higher than average. You attract opportunities, relationships, and experiences that match the seriousness with which you approach your life. Your life begins to reflect the value you place on yourself. Motivation is no longer the main driver. People often wait for motivation, but motivation is fleeting. Showing up fully means acting even when you do not feel like it. You rely on discipline and systems rather than mood or external pressure. This consistency produces results that motivate you naturally, creating a cycle of progress and confidence. You stop being a passenger in your own life and start driving it with deliberate action. Habits compound when you treat yourself seriously. Daily actions accumulate into patterns. Patterns shape character, and character shapes destiny. The seriousness you bring to your life becomes embedded in your routines, and over time, these routines produce automatic results. You no longer need to rely on chance, luck, or bursts of inspiration. Success becomes a predictable outcome of consistent intentional behavior. Emotional intelligence deepens when you show up fully. You begin to notice how your emotions influence your decisions, productivity, and relationships. Treating yourself seriously includes managing your emotional state so that it does not derail your progress. You respond thoughtfully instead of reacting impulsively. This control strengthens relationships, improves decision-making, and ensures that your energy is invested wisely. Time becomes your most valuable resource. Showing up fully makes you protective of every hour. You plan, schedule, and structure your day to maximize meaningful action. Wasted time diminishes both opportunity and self-respect. Every task, interaction, and commitment is measured against whether it moves you closer to the person you want to become. Seriousness with yourself translates directly into how intentionally you use time. Your life starts to attract success naturally. When you take yourself seriously, people notice, opportunities emerge, because your consistency, reliability, and integrity signal that you are ready. Success is no longer something you chase blindly. It is drawn to the habits, mindset, and energy you consistently demonstrate. The more serious you are about yourself, the more aligned your life becomes with the goals you aspire to achieve. Showing up fully is a daily choice. It requires awareness, effort, and dedication. You cannot outsource it, delay it, or delegate it. Every day presents a new chance to act with purpose, follow through on commitments, and prove to yourself that your life matters. Each choice builds momentum, each effort compounds, and each day becomes a stepping stone toward the life you want. Ultimately, success begins the moment you take yourself seriously, because it transforms your mind, your habits, your relationships, and your results. When you commit to your own life, respect your own potential, and act consistently, you build a foundation that cannot be shaken by circumstances or setbacks. Showing up fully is not temporary. It is a lifestyle, a mindset, and a standard that governs every action. It turns ordinary days into meaningful progress and ordinary effort into extraordinary results. When you treat yourself seriously, you stop waiting for permission from the world. You stop hoping for luck or circumstances to align perfectly. You no longer measure yourself against others, but against your own commitments and standards. You focus on what you can control, invest in your growth, and persist until your goals are achieved. The person who takes themselves seriously commands their own future, creates their own momentum, and achieves a level of fulfillment and success that others can only wish for. Showing up fully, acting with integrity, protecting your energy, and focusing on consistent progress are the keys to this transformation. Each day you honor your own worth, follow through on promises, and embrace responsibility. You move closer to the life you truly deserve. Success is no longer a distant dream. It becomes a natural result of how seriously you approach yourself, your actions, and your life every single day. This is the moment where everything changes. The moment you decide that your life matters enough to show up fully. The moment you stop drifting, stop hoping, and start acting. The moment you take yourself seriously, your potential unfolds, your habits strengthen, and your results multiply. Success begins the instant you respect your own life enough to treat it as the most important project you will ever work on. And from that moment forward, nothing in your life can remain the same. Chapter 2. Make decisions that reflect your worth and personal priorities daily. Every choice you make shapes the life you live. If you want to succeed, grow, and create a life you are proud of, you must start making decisions that reflect your true worth and what really matters to you. Too often, people drift through life letting others decide for them. They accept opportunities, relationships, and habits that feel convenient but do not align with their values or long-term goals. Each decision, no matter how small, either moves you closer to your best life or pulls you away from it. Success, happiness, and fulfillment are built on the daily decisions you consciously make. When you start evaluating every choice based on your personal priorities and self-respect, everything in your life begins to change. Making decisions that reflect your worth starts with clarity. You must know what you value most, what your goals are, and who you want to become. This requires deep reflection and honesty with yourself. Write down your priorities. Ask yourself what matters most in your career, relationships, health, and personal growth. When you are clear about your priorities, each decision becomes easier because you have a benchmark to measure against. Decisions are no longer based on impulse, pressure, or convenience. They are based on alignment with your highest values. Once clarity is established, recognize the cost of indecision. Many people fail not because they make the wrong choices, but because they make no choices at all. Waiting for the perfect time, the right opportunity, or external validation leads to wasted energy and lost opportunities. Each day spent hesitating is a day where progress stalls. Making serious value-based decisions empowers you to take control of your life. Even when a choice is difficult, taking action reinforces your confidence and demonstrates that you respect your own priorities enough to act. Confidence in decision-making grows with practice. Start small by making intentional choices in daily life. Decide how you will spend your time, what you will focus on, and which tasks deserve your attention. Choose relationships that lift you rather than drain you. Choose projects that challenge and develop your skills. Each conscious decision strengthens your ability to act decisively and reflects your commitment to your own growth. Over time, this builds a powerful habit of living intentionally rather than reacting passively to circumstances. Boundaries are an essential part of making decisions that reflect your worth. When you understand your value, you naturally start saying no to things that do not serve your priorities. Saying no is not selfish, it is a demonstration of self-respect. Every time you refuse an opportunity, request, or habit that conflicts with your goals, you send a message to yourself and the world that your life and priorities matter. Protecting your energy, time, and focus becomes non-negotiable. Boundaries ensure that your decisions remain aligned with what truly matters, preventing distractions from eroding your progress. Decision-making is strengthened by evaluating long-term impact. Immediate gratification often tempts people to make choices that feel good in the moment but harm progress. Showing up fully for your life means thinking beyond today. Will this decision support the person I want to become next month, next year, or in 5 years? Each choice is an investment in your future self. Choosing short-term ease over long-term benefit might feel comfortable now, but it erodes the results that only consistent, value-aligned actions can produce. Decisions grounded in long-term perspective create sustainable momentum and results that compound over time. Accountability reinforces intentional choices. When you make a decision based on your priorities, follow through completely. Avoid the trap of making value-based choices only to abandon them when resistance arises. Track your commitments, assess your actions, and hold yourself responsible. Accountability ensures that decisions do not remain theoretical but become tangible progress. The habit of following through strengthens your sense of self-worth and trains your mind to trust your judgment. Every time you act in alignment with your priorities, your confidence and clarity grow. Decision-making also involves filtering external influence. People around you, friends, family, colleagues, and society often have opinions, expectations, or pressures that push you away from your priorities. Taking yourself seriously means evaluating advice critically. Consider whether the input aligns with your values and goals before acting. External influence should never override your personal standards or priorities. The people who succeed most consistently are those who respect themselves enough to act according to their own judgment, rather than seeking approval or avoiding criticism. Emotional control is key. Decisions made in haste, fear, or anger rarely reflect your true worth. Taking yourself seriously requires pausing, observing your emotional state, and making choices with a clear mind. When you allow temporary emotions to dictate actions, you risk undermining long-term priority. Training yourself to respond thoughtfully, rather than react impulsively, strengthens decision-making and ensures that each choice is consistent with your values and personal goals. Emotional discipline turns daily choices into consistent steps toward a life of integrity and growth. Everyday decisions compound. Many people underestimate the power of seemingly small choices: how you spend an hour, the words you speak, the habits you repeat. These accumulate over time to create either a life of fulfillment or regret. Taking yourself seriously means realizing that each decision carries weight. Choosing to focus, act, learn, and invest in yourself consistently creates compounding effects. Each choice aligned with your worth reinforces the next, creating momentum. When you practice intentional decision-making daily, you build a life where success, growth, and fulfillment are natural outcomes. Prioritization skills are essential. You will be faced with countless options every day, and not every choice will matter equally. Learn to identify the actions that have the highest impact on your goals and values. Focus your energy where it produces the most meaningful results. Discard activities that consume time and attention without contributing to your growth. Prioritizing effectively ensures that every decision reflects your worth and moves you closer to the life you are capable of achieving. Decision-making requires courage. Standing up for your priorities may be uncomfortable. Saying no, taking risks, and choosing paths others do not understand requires bravery. People often compromise to avoid conflict or discomfort. Taking yourself seriously means acting courageously in alignment with your values. The more consistently you choose the right path over the easy path, the stronger your confidence, clarity, and ability to take decisive action become. Courage transforms hesitation into consistent momentum and builds a life that reflects your worth. Self-awareness enhances every decision. Take time to understand your strengths, weaknesses, and tendencies. Recognize patterns that lead to distraction, poor choices, or wasted energy. The more you understand yourself, the more your decisions reflect your true priority. Self-awareness allows you to filter options intelligently. Choose actions aligned with your goals and avoid decisions that undermine your growth. Awareness of your habits, emotions, and motivations ensures that your choices are grounded in reality rather than assumptions or fleeting impulses. Decision-making also benefits from reflection. Review past choices, successes, and mistakes regularly. Identify what worked, what didn't, and why. Use these insights to make better decisions in the future. Reflection turns experience into wisdom, preventing repeated mistakes and reinforcing effective patterns. By continuously evaluating your decisions, you develop a sharper sense of judgment, stronger alignment with your values, and more predictable results in your life. Energy management supports decision quality. You cannot make good choices when you are exhausted, stressed, or distracted. Taking yourself seriously means ensuring that you are mentally and physically prepared to act intentionally. Sleep, nutrition, focus, and mental clarity are not optional. They directly influence the quality of every decision. Investing in your energy ensures that every choice is made with strength, clarity, and commitment, rather than from fatigue or distraction. Consistency transforms decision-making into a lifestyle. When you make value-based choices every day, your life begins to reflect your priorities automatically. Consistency builds trust in yourself, trains your mind to recognize patterns of success, and eliminates hesitation. Over time, intentional decision-making becomes effortless because it is embedded in your daily behavior. Your environment, habits, and relationships start to align naturally with your values, creating a life that mirrors your worth. Account for risk wisely. Decisions often involve uncertainty. Taking yourself seriously does not mean avoiding all risk. It means evaluating potential outcomes and making choices that balance ambition and responsibility. Calculated risks allow growth, learning, and progress. Avoid reckless decisions driven by impulse, but do not let fear prevent you from pursuing opportunities that match your priorities. Wise risk-taking strengthens your judgment, builds resilience, and accelerates the achievement of meaningful goals. Decision-making also shapes identity. The choices you consistently make define who you become. People who make decisions aligned with their worth and priorities build a strong sense of self. They act with integrity, confidence, and purpose. Over time, these decisions reinforce character, discipline, and a reputation of reliability. By making serious, thoughtful choices daily, you shape the person you want to be and the life you want to live. Learning from outcomes is vital. Every decision produces results. Some will meet your expectations, and some will not. Evaluate outcomes objectively. Identify lessons to improve future choices. This approach ensures that every action contributes to growth, even when the immediate result is not ideal. By learning systematically from your decisions, you refine judgment, improve alignment with priorities, and increase your chances of achieving long-term success. Finally, living by your priorities creates fulfillment. Decisions that reflect your worth ensure that your life is intentional, meaningful, and under your control. You stop drifting, stop compromising, and stop living by default. Every day becomes an opportunity to act deliberately, reinforce your standards, and build a life that honors your potential. Making decisions in alignment with your values is not just a strategy, it is a declaration that your life matters and your future depends on the actions you take right now. When you commit to making decisions that reflect your worth and personal priorities daily, you create a life of purpose, growth, and success. You no longer let circumstances, other people, or fleeting impulses control your path. Instead, your choices shape the reality you live. Every day, every action, and every decision compounds into the life you want. Taking yourself seriously in this way transforms ordinary routines into powerful momentum, ensures consistent progress, and builds a future that reflects your highest potential.
Chapter 3. Focus on progress over perfection in every action you take. Perfection is often the enemy of progress. Many people hold themselves back because they feel they must do everything flawlessly before moving forward. This mindset kills momentum, creativity, and growth. Success is not about being perfect,
It is about taking consistent action and improving continuously. Every small step you take toward your goals matters more than waiting for the ideal conditions or flawless execution. Focusing on progress over perfection is the mindset that separates those who achieve from those who remain stuck. Each day presents opportunities to move forward, learn and get better. The goal is not to be perfect, but to be better than you were yesterday, to refine your actions, and to embrace the process of growth wholeheartedly. Focusing on progress begins with changing how you think about mistakes. Mistakes are not failures, they are feedback. Each mistake shows you what does not work and guides you toward what does. When you stop fearing errors and start learning from them, your actions become more productive and your confidence grows. Progress-oriented people treat challenges as lessons rather than obstacles. They understand that every misstep is a chance to improve and that perfection is an illusion that slows down achievement. Consistency is more important than flawless performance. Doing something imperfectly every day produces far greater results than waiting for perfect execution once in a while. Repetition builds skill, understanding, and momentum. Even if your actions are not perfect, taking them consistently compounds into meaningful results over time. The person who focuses on progress is always moving forward, always learning, and always building capacity. Progress is measured by growth, learning, and forward motion rather than how flawless the outcome looks. Action is the key to improvement. Waiting for perfection creates paralysis. Every time you hesitate to act because conditions are not perfect, you lose valuable time and experience. Taking imperfect action allows you to experiment, adapt, and refine your approach. The most successful people are those who act, reflect, and adjust continuously. They understand that doing something now and improving it later is far more effective than waiting to do it perfectly once. Small improvements matter. You do not need to revolutionize everything at once. Incremental gains, repeated consistently, produce massive long-term results. Focus on improving one skill, habit, or action a little each day. Over weeks and months, these small improvements accumulate, creating a compounding effect that far exceeds what a single perfect action could achieve. Progress-oriented thinking values momentum over immediate perfection, because sustained action produces measurable outcomes that perfection cannot guarantee. Mindset is critical. Shifting from a perfection-based mindset to a progress-based mindset changes how you approach challenges. You stop fearing criticism, mistakes, or imperfect results. You start valuing effort, learning, and adaptation. This mindset encourages experimentation and creativity because you are no longer trapped by the need to get everything exactly right. Progress becomes your primary measure of success, and perfection becomes an optional refinement rather than a requirement. Focus on action rather than outcomes. Many people tie their self-worth to perfect results, which creates anxiety, procrastination, and avoidance. By concentrating on consistent effort and forward motion, you separate your value from immediate outcomes. Effort compounds into skill, experience, and results over time. The person who prioritizes progress over perfection understands that results will follow consistent, dedicated action. They measure themselves by growth, learning, and commitment rather than flawless execution. Set realistic standards. Perfectionism often arises from unrealistic expectations. When your standards are impossible to meet, you either fail silently or avoid action altogether. Instead, define clear, achievable benchmarks for each task or goal. Aim for improvement rather than flawless execution. This approach allows you to take action confidently, learn from feedback, and gradually elevate your standards. Progress-oriented individuals set high but realistic expectations that motivate action rather than discourage it. Reflection strengthens progress. Regularly review your actions, results, and habits to identify what is working and what is not. Reflection helps you adjust strategies, celebrate incremental wins, and refine techniques without fixating on perfection. By examining your performance honestly, you create a cycle of continuous improvement. Each reflection session reinforces progress, identifies gaps, and highlights opportunities for growth, making action more intentional and effective over time. Patience supports progress. Improvement rarely happens overnight. People who demand perfection too quickly often quit when results are slow. Focusing on progress teaches patience and resilience. You learn to value the journey, trust the process, and persist even when immediate outcomes are not ideal. Over time, small, consistent improvements lead to mastery, skill, and lasting achievement. Patience allows you to stay committed without being discouraged by temporary imperfections or setbacks. Progress-oriented thinking reduces fear. When you focus on perfection, fear of failure can paralyze action. By concentrating on learning, effort, and improvement, you shift your attention from fear to action. Mistakes are seen as opportunities rather than threats, and challenges become exercises rather than obstacles. This mindset fosters courage, experimentation, and persistence, enabling you to tackle difficult tasks without being immobilized by fear of imperfection. Celebrate small wins. Each forward step, however minor, deserves recognition. Celebrating progress reinforces the habit of improvement, motivates further action, and builds confidence. When you acknowledge incremental achievements, you create positive momentum that encourages continuous effort. Celebrating progress rather than perfection teaches your mind to value growth, consistency, and resilience over flawless results. This reinforcement strengthens habits and ensures that each day contributes meaningfully to long-term success. Adaptability is enhanced by focusing on progress. Perfection-oriented people often stick rigidly to a plan to avoid mistakes, missing opportunities for improvement. Progress-oriented individuals embrace flexibility. They adjust their methods, learn from new information, and refine approaches continuously. This adaptability ensures that each action contributes to growth, even when circumstances change. The ability to adjust while still advancing builds confidence and keeps momentum alive, reinforcing progress as the ultimate goal. Time management improves with progress focus. Perfectionism can lead to procrastination, wasted time, and inefficiency. By aiming for consistent improvement rather than flawless outcomes, you allocate time more effectively. You act decisively, complete tasks, and move on to the next step. Progress-oriented people use their time efficiently because they focus on forward motion and results accumulation rather than endlessly refining each task. Every moment becomes productive and contributes to long-term growth. Self-compassion supports progress. Focusing on perfection often leads to self-criticism, frustration, and burnout. By valuing progress, you treat yourself kindly, acknowledge effort, and forgive mistakes. This compassionate approach fosters resilience, motivation, and sustained action. When you accept that improvement is a process, you are more willing to take risks, experiment, and continue moving forward without fear of judgment or failure. Decision-making benefits from progress or each choice becomes an opportunity to act, learn, and improve rather than a test of perfection. You make faster, more confident decisions because you prioritize forward motion over flawless execution. Progress-focused decision-making reduces hesitation and empowers consistent, effective action. Every decision contributes to learning, growth, and momentum, reinforcing the habit of continuous improvement. Accountability strengthens progress. When you commit to taking consistent action and improving daily, you create a structure that keeps you moving forward. Tracking results, measuring progress, and reviewing habits ensure that improvement is continuous.
Accountability allows you to adjust strategies, celebrate achievements, and maintain focus on meaningful action. Progress-oriented individuals embrace responsibility for results and use feedback to enhance their efforts continuously. Skill development accelerates with progress focus. Perfection demands mastery before attempting action, often delaying growth. Progress prioritizes learning through doing. By taking action imperfectly and refining skills along the way, you accelerate development and experience. This approach produces practical competence, confidence, and capability faster than waiting for ideal conditions or flawless ability. Incremental improvement leads to expertise over time, while keeping momentum alive. Motivation is sustained by progress. When success is tied to perfection, motivation fluctuates with performance. Progress-oriented thinking provides continuous reinforcement through forward movement and incremental achievements. Each step reinforces belief in your abilities and creates momentum that fuels further action. Motivation becomes self-sustaining because progress is measurable, visible, and consistent, rather than dependent on fleeting inspiration or flawless results. Overcoming obstacles is easier with a progress mindset. Perfection-oriented people often give up when challenges arise, fearing mistakes or imperfect performance. Progress-oriented individuals see obstacles as opportunities to learn and improve. Each challenge becomes a chance to refine skills, adapt strategies, and grow stronger. By focusing on forward movement rather than flawless execution, you maintain momentum, confidence, and resilience, allowing you to tackle even the toughest situations effectively. Mindset shapes outcomes. Focusing on progress trains your mind to value effort, consistency, and learning. You begin to see growth in yourself and others, appreciate small wins, and approach challenges with curiosity rather than fear. This mindset encourages persistence, innovation, and long-term achievement. By prioritizing progress over perfection, you align your thoughts, actions, and energy toward consistent improvement and tangible results. Growth becomes measurable. Instead of obsessing over perfect outcomes, you track incremental improvements, skills acquired, and lessons learned. Each measurement provides insight into what works and what needs adjustment. This feedback loop ensures continuous improvement and reinforces the habit of progress-focused action. You no longer wait for external validation, because the results of your consistent effort provide clear evidence of advancement. Taking action despite uncertainty defines success. Waiting for perfect conditions delays progress. By acting imperfectly but intentionally, you generate results, learn quickly, and build confidence. Progress-focused individuals embrace uncertainty, make the best decisions with available information, and refine along the way. This approach turns hesitation into movement and ensures that even imperfect actions contribute to long-term success. Focusing on progress over perfection creates freedom. You stop being paralyzed by fear, self-doubt, or unrealistic expectation. You act confidently, adapt intelligently, and celebrate forward movement. This freedom fosters creativity, resilience, and consistent achievement. Life becomes an accumulation of deliberate actions, learning experiences, and visible results, rather than a pursuit of an unattainable ideal. By committing to progress in every action, your life changes. You act decisively, learn continuously, adapt intelligently, and accumulate results. Momentum replaces hesitation, growth replaces frustration, confidence replaces self-doubt. Each day becomes a step forward, each task a building block, and each challenge an opportunity to improve. When you focus on progress over perfection, you unlock potential, maintain momentum, and create a life of consistent achievement that reflects your effort, learning, and dedication.
Chapter 4. Build small habits that add up to massive long-term change. Small habits are the foundation of extraordinary lives. Most people underestimate the power of simple daily actions. They think change requires grand gestures, radical transformations, or sudden bursts of effort. The truth is entirely different. Massive long-term results come from repeated small actions done consistently over time. A single small habit may seem insignificant on its own, but when repeated daily, it compounds into measurable progress and lasting achievement. Success is not a product of rare spectacular moments. It is the sum of small intentional behaviors carried out consistently. Every decision to act, even in tiny ways, shapes your future. Building small habits is the strategy that bridges your current life with your long-term goals, ensuring that progress happens naturally, steadily, and permanently. The first step in building small habits is clarity. You need to identify what matters most and which habits align with your goals and values. Start by listing areas of your life where consistent improvement would produce the greatest impact. This could include health, relationships, career, personal development, or finances. For each area, identify a simple habit that is easy to implement and can be repeated daily. Clarity ensures that your habits are intentional rather than random. When you know why you are doing something and what it contributes to your long-term success, you are more likely to follow through consistently. Simplicity is critical. Choose habits that are so small and manageable that they do not feel overwhelming. The key is consistency, not intensity. For example, reading 5 pages of a book daily is more effective than attempting to read 200 pages sporadically. A 5-minute workout daily is more sustainable than an hour-long session once a week. Small, simple habits are easier to maintain, integrate into routines, and scale over time. They create momentum without triggering resistance, procrastination, or burnout. Consistency transforms small habits into powerful forces. Performing the same action daily reinforces neural pathways in the brain, turning behaviors into automatic responses. Over weeks and months, what once required effort becomes natural. Consistency produces compounding results, because each repetition builds upon the previous one. Progress is not linear. It accumulates slowly at first, then accelerates as habits take hold. This compounding effect is the true secret behind lasting success. Every small habit, repeated without fail, contributes to exponential growth over time. Tracking your habits strengthens adherence. When you record your actions, you create accountability and visibility. Tracking shows your progress, highlights patterns, and reinforces commitment. Simple tools like a habit journal, checklist, or digital tracker can motivate daily action. Each tick, note, or record is a reminder that you are moving forward and honoring your commitment to yourself. When you can see incremental improvements, your motivation increases naturally, and small habits evolve into unshakable routines. Focus on one habit at a time. Trying to implement too many habits simultaneously often leads to overwhelm and failure. Prioritize habits that produce the greatest long-term impact and start with a single manageable action. Once that habit is firmly established, add another. Layering habits gradually ensures sustainability and prevents burnout. This step-by-step approach builds confidence, reinforces discipline, and produces tangible results faster than attempting dramatic simultaneous changes. Environmental design supports habit formation. Structure your surroundings to make desired behaviors easier and undesired behaviors harder. Remove distractions, create triggers, and place cues that remind you to act. For example, placing your workout clothes where you can see them, or leaving a book on your nightstand encourages the habit. The environment plays a powerful role in shaping behavior, and designing it strategically reduces reliance on willpower alone. Small, intentional changes in your surroundings can reinforce habits effortlessly. Patience is essential. Small habits rarely produce dramatic results immediately. Their power lies in the accumulation over time. Resist the urge to judge their effectiveness too early.
Daily repetition compounds silently, and results often become visible months or years later. Trust the process, continue acting consistently, and understand that each action contributes to a long-term outcome, far greater than the effort seems to warrant at the moment. Patience turns repetition into mastery, and gradual improvement into life-changing results. Accountability strengthens habit development. Share your goals with someone who will encourage and hold you responsible. This could be a friend, family member, coach, or accountability partner. External accountability adds motivation, provides feedback, and reinforces consistency. Knowing that someone else is aware of your commitments increases the likelihood of following through. Habits flourish when paired with accountability because consistent action becomes both personally and socially reinforced. Self-reflection enhances habit effectiveness. Regularly review which habits are producing desired results and which may need adjustment. Reflection allows you to identify patterns, understand obstacles, and refine strategies. It transforms habit formation from a mechanical process into an intentional practice. By evaluating outcomes, you ensure that habits continue to serve your long-term objectives and do not become empty routines. Reflection keeps your actions aligned with growth and maximizes the impact of small daily efforts. Mindset is the glue that sustains habit. Believing in the power of small, consistent actions makes it easier to persevere. A progress-oriented mindset values incremental improvement, learning, and persistence over immediate perfection. Every small action matters because it is a building block in a larger framework. When you focus on progress rather than instant results, you are more likely to continue acting, even when motivation dips or challenges arise. Mindset transforms repetition into meaningful progress. Habits should be flexible and adaptable. Life is dynamic, and circumstances change. Rigid routines can break under pressure. Design habits that can adjust to your environment, energy, and schedule without losing consistency. For example, if a morning workout is missed, perform a shorter version later in the day. Flexibility ensures that habits continue despite challenges, maintaining momentum and reducing the risk of failure. Small adaptations preserve continuity while sustaining long-term growth. Celebrate incremental wins. Recognize the cumulative power of small habits by acknowledging progress regularly. Each day you maintain a habit, you reinforce your commitment, build confidence, and motivate future action. Celebrating progress focuses attention on the effort rather than perfection, encouraging persistence and long-term adherence. Recognition of small victories transforms repetition into meaningful accomplishment and fosters a positive feedback loop. Account for setbacks realistically. Missing a habit occasionally is normal and expected. Avoid self-criticism or abandoning the habit entirely. Recommit immediately, learn from the disruption, and continue without judgment. Resilience in habit formation ensures that occasional lapses do not derail long-term progress. Small habits compound over years, and a single missed day does not erase cumulative growth. Learning to respond constructively to setbacks reinforces discipline and persistence. Integration into existing routines increases habit sustainability. Pair new habits with established behaviors, creating triggers that prompt action automatically. For instance, after brushing your teeth, perform a short stretch or read a page of a book. This technique reduces the mental effort required to initiate action and makes the habit part of your daily rhythm. Integration creates seamless routines that embed small habits into your life naturally and effortlessly. Focus on identity-based habits. Align actions with the type of person you want to become. Instead of thinking, I want to read more, focus on I am someone who reads daily. This perspective shifts motivation from external goals to internal identity, making habits more sustainable and consistent. Each small action reinforces your desired identity, turning repetition into a statement of who you are rather than just what you do. Identity-based habits transform small actions into lifelong patterns. Measurement enhances motivation. Track the cumulative effect of habits over time. Recording minutes, pages, or repetitions provides tangible evidence of progress. This feedback strengthens commitment and reinforces the value of small daily action. When you see the results of compounded effort, it motivates continued adherence, deepens confidence, and highlights the power of incremental improvement in creating long-term outcomes. Focus on keystone habits. Identify habits that create ripple effects across multiple areas of life. For example, exercising daily can improve energy, mood, focus, and confidence. Small habits that influence other behaviors multiply impact and accelerate results. Prioritizing keystone habits ensures that effort produces maximum returns, building a foundation that supports broader personal growth and consistent improvement. Automation reduces reliance on willpower. Habits should become automatic, requiring minimal conscious thought. Repetition strengthens neural pathways, making action effortless over time. Automation allows you to conserve mental energy, maintain consistency, and focus on higher priority tasks. The goal is to make small habits so ingrained that skipping them feels unnatural. Consistency becomes effortless, and long-term results become inevitable. Focus on long-term vision. Small habits can seem trivial in the moment, but their cumulative effect over months and years is enormous. Keeping a vision of where these actions lead strengthens commitment and provides motivation. The knowledge that tiny steps compound into significant change ensures perseverance, even when progress is not immediately visible. Long-term vision connects daily effort with meaningful outcomes. Reflection, consistency, adaptability, and reinforcement create a system for sustainable habits. Daily small actions build resilience, discipline, and skill. Over time, these habits transform into routines, routines into lifestyle, and lifestyle into result. Massive change is not the product of chance, but the outcome of intentional, consistent, and deliberate habits executed over time. Each repetition strengthens your foundation, shapes your character, and propels you toward long-term success. By focusing on small, achievable habits, you unlock the power of compounding. Each day contributes to growth, each action accumulates into momentum, and every repetition builds capability. Life-altering results do not require extraordinary effort. They require ordinary actions done consistently, intentionally, and patiently. The discipline to act daily, the wisdom to choose effective habits, and the patience to maintain them create a trajectory that leads inevitably to success. Small habits are not small in impact. They are the building blocks of achievement, resilience, and personal growth. Daily commitment to tiny actions produces massive transformations over months and years. Each step, each repetition, each habit reinforces progress, cultivates discipline, and strengthens identity. By designing habits intentionally, tracking progress, and committing to consistency, you create a life that grows quietly, yet powerfully, producing results that far exceed what most people imagine. The compounding power of small habits ensures that your life moves steadily toward your goal. You no longer rely on motivation, luck, or fleeting bursts of effort. Success becomes predictable, sustainable, and inevitable. Daily small actions, repeated consistently, shape your skills, mindset, and results. This is how ordinary days become extraordinary over time. By building small habits deliberately, you set the stage for massive, long-term change that transforms not only what you do, but who you become.
Chapter 5. Push through discomfort to grow stronger, smarter, and more capable. Growth is not comfortable. Every meaningful improvement in your life requires stepping into discomfort, facing challenges, and embracing situations that push your limits. Most people avoid discomfort because it is unpleasant, uncertain, or intimidating. They seek comfort, predictability, and ease, but comfort does not produce strength, intelligence, or capability. Real development happens when you confront difficulty, endure temporary pain, and persist despite uncertainty. Pushing through discomfort is the most reliable pathway to becoming stronger, smarter, and more capable. It is in these moments that resilience is built, confidence is forged, and skill is sharpened. Avoiding challenge may feel safe, but it ensures stagnation. To transform your life, you must actively choose growth over comfort and take responsibility for moving beyond your current limitations every single day. The first step in embracing discomfort is awareness. Recognize the areas in your life where you are avoiding challenge, delaying decisions, or settling for mediocrity. Awareness requires honesty with yourself. Ask yourself, where am I playing it safe? Which skills am I neglecting because learning them feels hard? Which conversations or opportunities have I avoided because they feel uncomfortable? Awareness shines a light on the habits and patterns that prevent growth. Without acknowledgement of your avoidance, discomfort cannot be transformed into progress. Awareness is the precursor to action. Once you identify the areas of discomfort, approach them deliberately. Treat difficult tasks as opportunities to expand your capacity rather than obstacles to avoid. Each time you choose to engage with a challenge rather than retreat, you strengthen both mind and body. Action under discomfort develops courage. The more frequently you act in the presence of fear, resistance, or difficulty, the more capable you become at navigating complexity and adversity. Discomfort is training ground, and your response to it defines your growth trajectory. Preparation amplifies the benefits of discomfort. You do not need to avoid planning or strategy when facing challenges. Preparing your mind, body, and resources allows you to act confidently in difficult situations. Preparation reduces unnecessary anxiety, while preserving the natural stress that fuels growth. By practicing skills, researching solutions, and building knowledge, you equip yourself to tackle discomfort with purpose. Preparedness ensures that difficult experiences become productive, empowering, and educational rather than overwhelming or defeating. Discomfort teaches resilience. Every time you push through a difficult task, your capacity to endure future challenges increases. You develop the mental strength to face setbacks, manage stress, and navigate uncertainty. Resilience is cumulative. Each experience of overcoming hardship adds layers of confidence, adaptability, and persistence. The person who embraces discomfort builds an unshakable foundation for future challenges. Strength gained through consistent exposure to difficulty becomes a permanent asset that shapes every area of life. Learning occurs fastest in discomfort. Your brain and body respond to stress by adapting and becoming more capable. This applies to physical training, intellectual challenges, and emotional growth. When tasks feel hard, your neural pathways strengthen, your problem-solving improves, and your resourcefulness expands. Avoiding discomfort limits learning because it reduces exposure to situations that require adaptation. By embracing difficult experiences, you accelerate personal development, acquire new skills, and expand your understanding of yourself and the world. Focus on incremental progress within discomfort. Growth does not require immediate mastery. Each attempt, each failure, each small success contributes to cumulative improvement. Pushing through discomfort means taking deliberate action repeatedly, adjusting strategies, and building competence gradually. Consistency under challenge produces skill, endurance, and confidence far beyond what occasional success or effortless action could achieve.
Incremental progress transforms repeated exposure to discomfort into measurable improvement over time. Mindset is crucial in managing discomfort. View difficult experiences as opportunities rather than threats. Perceiving challenge as an enemy creates resistance, anxiety, and avoidance. Perceiving challenge as a teacher transforms stress into fuel. Every situation that pushes your limits can be a lesson in perseverance, intelligence, and skill development. Adopting a growth-focused mindset turns discomfort into a tool rather than a barrier, allowing you to extract maximum value from every challenging situation. Decision-making improves under discomfort. Difficult situations force you to act with limited information, adapt quickly, and evaluate options strategically. By engaging with discomfort, you strengthen judgment, intuition, and problem-solving skill. Each decision made in challenging circumstances becomes a reference point for future scenarios, expanding your confidence and capability. Avoiding discomfort deprives you of these essential learning experiences and slows personal evolution. Deliberate exposure to difficulty accelerates cognitive growth. Physical and mental endurance are built through discomfort. Challenges that push your limits, whether training your body, learning new skills, or handling stressful situations, strengthen stamina. Your body adapts to physical strain, and your mind adapts to stress, complexity, and emotional tension. Endurance develops gradually through repeated exposure. Pushing through small discomforts daily compounds into long-term capacity. Each effort strengthens resilience, reduces susceptibility to fatigue or overwhelm, and enhances overall capability. Emotional intelligence is sharpened by facing discomfort. Difficult experiences often evoke fear, frustration, and uncertainty. Navigating these emotions successfully requires awareness, control, and thoughtful response. Each encounter strengthens emotional regulation, empathy, and patience. By tolerating and working through discomfort, you build emotional resilience that improves relationships, decision-making, and stress management. Emotional growth is a direct product of intentional exposure to challenging experiences. Overcoming fear is essential to growth. Discomfort is often accompanied by fear of failure, rejection, or criticism. Pushing through these fears demonstrates to yourself that you are capable and resourceful. Repeated exposure reduces sensitivity to fear and increases confidence in your ability to handle adversity. Courage is not the absence of fear, it is action despite fear. Growth comes to those who face fear directly, rather than avoiding it. Every act of courage strengthens character and capability. Set challenges deliberately. Do not wait for life to force you into discomfort. Seek opportunities that stretch your abilities. Assign yourself tasks that push your limits in controlled ways. Pursue learning experiences, difficult conversations, or projects that challenge your current skill. Deliberate challenges prepare you for the unexpected, build confidence, and accelerate skill acquisition. Growth is intentional, not accidental, and purposeful exposure to discomfort ensures rapid and lasting development. Reflection enhances learning from discomfort. After facing a difficult situation, review your actions, outcomes, and emotional responses. Identify what worked, what did not, and what can be improved. Reflection transforms raw experiences into structured growth. Each reflection reinforces lessons learned, strengthens judgment, and prepares you for future challenges. Without reflection, discomfort becomes random struggle rather than purposeful development. Learning is amplified when coupled with thoughtful analysis. Discomfort strengthens problem solving. Difficult situations require creative thinking, adaptability, and perseverance. By repeatedly confronting challenges, you develop the ability to approach problems from multiple angles, anticipate obstacles, and identify solutions quickly. Problem solving becomes instinctive, and challenges that once seemed intimidating become manageable. The more you engage with discomfort, the sharper your analytical skills, decision-making, and strategic thinking become. Self-confidence is built through repeated exposure to difficulty. Each time you face a challenging task and persist, you prove to yourself that you are capable. Confidence accumulates incrementally. The awareness that you can handle discomfort in one situation translates to courage and competence in others. This self-assurance strengthens your resolve, encourages bolder action, and fuels continuous growth. Confidence is a natural byproduct of confronting and mastering discomfort consistently. Consistency under discomfort compounds results. Occasional bravery produces limited growth. Daily, repeated engagement with challenging situations creates long-term strength, intelligence, and capability. Each exposure builds upon the last, producing momentum that accelerates skill acquisition, resilience, and confidence. Persistence in discomfort is the engine of personal transformation. Momentum ensures that challenges become opportunities and that progress is inevitable over time. Adaptability is enhanced by discomfort. Situations that push your limits often present uncertainty or change. By operating effectively under these conditions, you learn to pivot, adjust strategies, and respond intelligently. Adaptable individuals thrive in dynamic environments because they are accustomed to managing pressure, complexity, and unpredictability. Discomfort prepares you to navigate real-world challenges with flexibility and competence. Motivation grows through mastery of discomfort. As you experience repeated success in difficult tasks, your drive to take on greater challenges increases. The process of overcoming obstacles builds a positive feedback loop. Each achievement reinforces the belief in your capabilities, which motivates further action. Momentum created through consistent engagement with discomfort fuels ambition and expands your potential. Self-discipline is cultivated in discomfort. Acting when it is uncomfortable requires willpower, focus, and determination. Regular exposure strengthens these qualities, making it easier to persist in future challenges. Self-discipline allows you to maintain effort even when motivation wanes, ensuring continued growth and development. Discomfort is the training ground where habits of perseverance and discipline are forged. Perspective develops through pushing boundary. Experiencing difficulty teaches humility, gratitude, and appreciation for progress. You gain insight into your capabilities, limitations, and potential. Challenges expand understanding of yourself and the world, creating wisdom that guides future action. Discomfort transforms experiences into perspective, shaping not only skill, but also character and judgment. The compound effect of discomfort is profound. Each challenge faced, each fear confronted, each step taken outside comfort zones accumulate. Over time, you become stronger, more intelligent, and more capable than you ever imagined. Life's difficulties no longer intimidate you, but become opportunities for development. The consistent choice to embrace discomfort ensures continuous growth, resilience, and the ability to navigate any situation successfully. Pushing through discomfort is not optional for anyone who desires meaningful success. Comfort leads to stagnation. Growth demands effort, persistence, and courage. Each time you choose to act in challenging circumstances, you strengthen your body, mind, and spirit. Discomfort becomes a teacher, a coach, and a tool for self-improvement. Mastery over discomfort equates to mastery over life. Strength, intelligence, and capability are the natural results of facing challenges head-on, every day, with persistence, clarity, and commitment.
Chapter 6. Protect your time and attention from people and things that drain. Time and attention are your most valuable resources. Every moment wasted on distractions, negative influences, or unproductive activities diminishes your ability to grow, achieve, and live intentionally. Many people spend their lives reacting to demands from others or getting caught in routines that offer no real value. Energy leaks from constant exposure to people, habits, or content that drain motivation and focus. Protecting your time and attention is not selfish. It is essential for building the life you want. The moment you understand the true cost of where you direct your energy, you begin to make choices that preserve your focus and amplify your impact. Guarding your time is a conscious act, and it shapes your growth, productivity, and personal satisfaction every single day. The first step is awareness. Identify the sources of distraction, unnecessary obligations, or negative influence in your life. These could be toxic relationships, unproductive digital consumption, or commitments that do not align with your priorities. Observe how these factors affect your energy, mood, and output. Awareness is the foundation for control because you cannot protect what you do not recognize. Take note of moments when you feel drained, overwhelmed, or unmotivated, and trace them back to their source. This clarity allows you to take deliberate action to reclaim your time and attention. Boundaries are essential. Once you identify drains, establish clear limits around your energy and focus. Communicate these boundaries respectfully, but firmly. For example, limit time with individuals who constantly complain or criticize, set strict work schedules to prevent distractions, and reduce exposure to unnecessary notifications or content. Boundaries are not about cutting people off completely, but about preserving your ability to act intentionally and protect your mental and emotional energy. When boundaries are respected, your productivity and well-being increase naturally. Prioritization is key. Every task, conversation, and commitment should be measured against your goals and values. Ask yourself whether an activity or interaction contributes positively to your growth, happiness, or progress. If it does not, it is a candidate for reduction or elimination. Prioritizing high-value activities over low-value ones ensures that your energy is spent where it matters most. Protecting attention is not about avoidance, but about directing focus strategically toward meaningful outcomes. Technology can be a major drain if not managed carefully. Social media, email, and constant notifications fragment attention and reduce capacity for deep work. Establish limits on digital consumption, schedule focused periods without distractions, and consciously choose the content you engage with. By controlling the digital environment, you preserve mental clarity and maximize productivity. Intentional technology use ensures that you remain in control of your focus rather than being pulled in countless directions. Learn to say no without guilt. Every yes to someone else is a no to yourself. Respecting your own time requires courage to decline requests, invitations, or demands that do not align with your priorities. Saying no is not rejection. It is an assertion of purpose. Each refusal frees energy to invest in tasks, relationships, and opportunities that genuinely matter. Over time, the habit of saying no strengthens discipline and ensures that your life reflects your true values. Evaluate relationships critically. People have a profound impact on your energy, mindset, and focus. Surround yourself with individuals who inspire, challenge, and support you, rather than those who drain, distract, or diminish your confidence. Limiting time with toxic or energy-draining people is not cruel. It is a necessary step in cultivating an environment conducive to growth. Your network shapes your habits, attitude, and opportunities, so invest in relationships that elevate you consistently. Daily routines reinforce protection of time and attention. Structure your day with blocks for high-priority activities, focused work, and personal development. Incorporate breaks and periods of solitude to recharge mental and emotional energy. Routines reduce decision fatigue and prevent distractions from hijacking your focus. When your schedule supports intentional action, protecting your energy becomes natural and habitual. Consistent daily habits compound into long-term efficiency and personal empowerment. Mindfulness enhances awareness of energy drains. Pay attention to how interactions, tasks, and media affect your mood, productivity, and focus. Notice when attention drifts or energy fades. Mindfulness allows you to respond intentionally rather than react automatically. By being present and conscious of your attention, you can adjust habits, interactions, and behaviors to preserve energy and maintain clarity. Awareness of mental and emotional states ensures that you remain in control of your focus. Set clear goals to guide your attention. When objectives are specific and meaningful, it is easier to identify what deserves focus and what does not. Goals act as a filter, helping you evaluate commitments and interactions against their relevance to your desired outcome. Clear goals reduce wasted time on distractions and reinforce deliberate action. Attention aligned with purpose produces consistent progress and prevents energy from being squandered on trivial matters. Declutter commitments systematically. Regularly review obligations, tasks, and responsibilities to remove those that do not contribute to growth, well-being, or personal objectives. Simplifying commitments frees time for meaningful action and reduces stress. A decluttered schedule provides clarity, focus, and mental space for creativity and problem-solving. By consciously eliminating low-value tasks, you reinforce a lifestyle centered on deliberate action and high impact. Energy management is intertwined with attention management. Protecting focus requires maintaining physical, mental, and emotional energy. Prioritize sleep, nutrition, exercise, and relaxation. A depleted mind is more susceptible to distractions, poor decisions, and negative influence. By caring for your energy, you increase resilience against drains and enhance capacity for meaningful engagement. Energy preservation ensures sustained attention and consistent performance. Batch similar tasks to reduce mental fragmentation. Grouping related activities into focused sessions minimizes cognitive load and prevents attention leaks. Multitasking dilutes focus and reduces efficiency. By concentrating on one type of task at a time, you maximize output and preserve mental energy for strategic thinking, creativity, and growth. Task batching is a practical method to protect both time and attention. Learn to disconnect regularly. Time alone, free from interruptions and external demands, strengthens focus, creativity, and problem-solving. Daily periods of solitude allow reflection, planning, and mental recharge. Disconnecting is not avoidance but preparation for intentional engagement. It reinforces autonomy over attention and prevents constant exposure to drains. Solitude empowers clarity, productivity, and sustained energy. Avoid news and media that foster anxiety or distraction. Constant exposure to negative or sensational content drains emotional energy without producing meaningful outcomes. Limit consumption to essential, actionable information. Choose content that educates, inspires, or directly supports your goals. Selective media engagement preserves emotional balance and maximizes mental focus for activities that produce real value. Create physical spaces that support focus. Organize workspaces, living areas, and personal environments to minimize distraction. A clutter-free and purposefully arranged space signals to your brain that certain activities deserve attention and effort. Environmental control reduces mental fatigue and strengthens the ability to engage fully with tasks. Attention is reinforced by surroundings that encourage deliberate action. Time blocking is a practical strategy. Allocate specific periods for focused work, rest, learning, and personal development. Defining clear boundaries for activities ensures that attention is concentrated where it matters. Interruptions are minimized and productivity is optimized.
Scheduled focus protects against energy drains and ensures that your most important tasks receive undivided attention. Develop selective communication habits. Not every message, call, or conversation requires an immediate response. Prioritize meaningful interactions and defer or ignore low-value interruptions. By managing communication channels consciously, you prevent energy leaks and maintain focus on high-priority objectives. Selectivity in communication strengthens discipline and preserves mental clarity. Learn to delegate effectively. Tasks that others can handle free your attention for activities that require your unique skills, creativity, or strategic thinking. Delegation is not abdication, it is efficient use of resources to protect focus. By assigning responsibilities thoughtfully, you maintain momentum on critical tasks, while preventing unnecessary drains on time and energy. Regularly review and adjust habits. Time and attention protection is not static. Life circumstances, goals, and priorities periodically evaluate which habits, commitments, and interactions continue to serve growth and which do not. Adaptation ensures that energy remains focused on what truly matters. Continuous refinement of routines, relationships, and engagement practices reinforces long-term focus and prevents gradual erosion of attention. Self-respect reinforces boundaries. Valuing your own time and energy is the foundation for protecting. When you respect yourself, it becomes easier to enforce limits, prioritize effectively, and avoid unnecessary drains. Self-respect creates a framework where saying no, setting boundaries, and preserving focus is a natural expression of personal integrity rather than a forced choice. Intentional exposure to positive influence amplifies results. Surround yourself with people, content, and environments that energize, educate, and inspire. Positive influence encourages higher standards, reinforces productive habits, and strengthens motivation. By carefully curating inputs, you protect attention while simultaneously elevating your mindset and performance. Energy preservation and positive reinforcement work hand in hand to accelerate personal growth. Reflection solidifies learning. At the end of each day or week, assess where your time and attention went, which activities were productive, and which drained energy unnecessarily. Use this insight to adjust future actions, reinforce boundaries, and optimize focus. Reflection ensures that protecting time and attention becomes a habitual, conscious, and continually improving practice. Long-term success depends on sustained focus and energy. Every day you allow distractions, drains, or low-value demands to dictate your attention, you reduce your capacity for growth and achievement. Protecting your time and focus is an ongoing, intentional practice that shapes outcomes, builds discipline, and ensures consistent progress toward your goal. Each moment preserved and directed intentionally compounds into measurable achievement, skill, and personal satisfaction over months and years. Protecting time and attention is not optional for those who aspire to meaningful success. It requires awareness, boundaries, prioritization, and disciplined action. By identifying drains, setting limits, managing energy, and curating influence, you create the conditions for sustained growth. Each decision to safeguard your focus strengthens autonomy, enhances productivity, and amplifies your potential. Time and attention are finite, and how you use them determines the trajectory of your life.
Chapter 7. Learn intentionally and apply knowledge immediately to improve your life. Learning without application is wasted potential. Knowledge becomes valuable only when it changes the way you think, act, and live. Many people consume information endlessly. Books, podcasts, courses, yet their lives remain the same because they never apply what they learn. True growth occurs when you take what you discover and immediately integrate it into your daily actions. Every idea, insight, or strategy should be tested in real life. Immediate application bridges the gap between theory and transformation. When learning becomes active rather than passive, it fuels progress, strengthens understanding, and produces tangible results. By committing to learning intentionally and applying knowledge without delay, you accelerate personal growth, enhance skills, and shape a life aligned with your goals and values. The first step is intentionality. Approach learning with a clear purpose. Identify what you need to know to solve problems, improve performance, or advance toward your objectives. Avoid consuming random information without direction. Every book, course, or article should be chosen based on its relevance to your goal. Intentional learning prevents wasted effort and maximizes impact. Ask yourself, what knowledge will make a meaningful difference in my life right now? This focus ensures that learning directly contributes to progress. Prioritize quality over quantity. Consuming a large volume of content without depth produces superficial understanding. Select materials that offer practical strategies, tested methods, and insights from credible sources. Engaging deeply with fewer, high-quality resources leads to stronger retention and more effective application. Take notes, highlight actionable points, and reflect on how the knowledge can be implemented immediately. Depth of understanding enhances execution and ensures learning translates into measurable improvement. Immediate action is essential. As soon as you acquire knowledge, determine a specific way to apply it. For example, if you learn a new productivity technique, implement it in your daily schedule today. If you discover a communication strategy, practice it in the next conversation. Immediate application turns abstract ideas into real-life skills. It reinforces learning, builds confidence, and accelerates mastery. Delaying action reduces motivation and often results in forgotten knowledge. Action is the bridge between insight and transformation. Break down concepts into practical steps. Complex ideas often remain theoretical if not translated into manageable actions. Identify the specific behaviors, routines, or decisions that reflect the knowledge you are acquiring. Convert theory into tangible steps that can be implemented within your current life context. Practical application simplifies learning, ensures comprehension, and produces measurable outcomes. By transforming knowledge into action, you create a feedback loop that reinforces understanding and promotes consistent improvement. Reflection strengthens learning. After applying knowledge, review the outcomes carefully. Assess what worked, what did not, and what could be improved. Reflection converts experience into insight. It allows you to adjust strategies, refine behaviors, and deepen understanding. Without reflection, application can become mechanical, lacking insight and adaptation. Thoughtful review enhances the quality of learning and ensures that knowledge leads to meaningful progress. Consistency matters. One-time application produces limited impact. Repeated practice of learned skills embeds them into habits, enhances mastery, and produces sustained results. Daily or frequent application ensures that knowledge becomes a permanent part of your capability, rather than temporary inspiration. The discipline to consistently act on what you learn is a hallmark of high achievers and accelerates personal development across all areas of life. Integrate learning into your daily routine. Treat education and personal development as ongoing responsibilities rather than occasional activities. Schedule dedicated time for focused learning, reflection, and application. Combine knowledge acquisition with practice so that each day includes both understanding and action. Integration ensures that learning is continuous, cumulative, and directly aligned with personal growth. Over time, these routines compound into deep expertise and transformative skill. Experiment actively. Not all knowledge works the same for every individual. Test different strategies, methods, and insights to determine what produces results in your context. Adapt principles to suit your strengths,
challenges, and goals. Experimentation enhances understanding, encourages creativity, and prevents stagnation. Treat learning as a laboratory where ideas are tested, refined, and applied for maximum impact. Flexibility in application ensures that knowledge becomes practical rather than theoretical. Teach others what you learn. Explaining knowledge to someone else reinforces your understanding and highlights areas that need improvement. Teaching forces clarity, critical thinking, and the ability to translate abstract ideas into actionable steps. Sharing knowledge also creates accountability, encouraging you to apply principles consistently. Education becomes more meaningful when it benefits both yourself and others, producing growth on multiple levels. Track results to measure effectiveness. Keep a record of how applied knowledge affects your outcomes. Tracking allows you to see progress, adjust strategies, and identify patterns of success. Data-driven feedback strengthens application, enhances focus, and ensures that learning translates into tangible improvement. Without measurement, it is difficult to determine whether knowledge is producing the intended impact. Evidence of progress reinforces motivation and encourages continued action. Prioritize actionable knowledge over theoretical understanding. Some information is interesting but impractical. Focus on insights that can directly improve decision-making, behavior, or performance. Filter learning through the lens of utility, relevance, and impact. Actionable knowledge creates immediate value and drives measurable change, while idle information accumulates without benefit. The more directly knowledge influences your daily choices, the faster it transforms your life. Balance learning and execution. Many people fall into the trap of endless consumption without action. Reading, watching, or listening alone does not produce results. Execution validates learning, solidifies understanding, and develops skills. Allocate equal or greater time to applying knowledge than to acquiring it. Knowledge without action is potential unrealized. Action without learning risks inefficiency or repeated mistakes. The combination of intentional learning and consistent application produces powerful compounding effect. Develop critical thinking. Not every idea or technique is universally effective. Evaluate knowledge critically before applying it. Assess the source, consider context, and determine practicality. Critical thinking ensures that actions are grounded in reality, adapted to your circumstances, and likely to produce the desired outcome. Thoughtful evaluation prevents wasted effort and enhances the efficiency of learning. Create routines that connect learning with immediate practice. For example, after reading a chapter in a book, implement one concept the same day. After a podcast or course, apply a technique to a real-life situation. Linking learning directly with action ensures retention, reinforces skill development, and accelerates personal growth. Habits of immediate application create momentum and consistency over time. Use mistakes as feedback. Application inevitably involves trial and error. Treat errors not as failures, but as learning opportunities. Analyze what went wrong, adjust your approach, and apply lessons in subsequent attempts. Mistakes are a natural part of the learning cycle and enhance understanding, resilience, and adaptability. Immediate application, combined with feedback, ensures that knowledge translates into competence and mastery. Adopt a mindset of continuous improvement. Learning is never complete, and application is never perfect. Approach every situation as an opportunity to gain insight, refine behavior, and enhance performance. Consistently asking how you can improve integrates knowledge into a lifelong growth trajectory. This mindset transforms ordinary experiences into deliberate learning opportunities that accelerate skill acquisition and personal development. Prioritize relevance. Apply knowledge that directly aligns with your current challenges, goals, or opportunities. Avoid overloading yourself with distant or unrelated information that cannot be acted upon immediately. Focused, relevant learning produces results faster and ensures that effort leads to tangible improvement. Relevance maximizes efficiency, impact, and motivation. Leverage accountability. Share your learning goals and application plans with mentors, peers, or coaches. Accountability increases commitment to implementation, encourages timely action, and provides feedback on effectiveness. The social element reinforces learning and ensures that knowledge is applied consistently rather than passively consumed. Use reflection journals. Writing down insights, action steps, and results clarifies understanding and reinforces learning. Journaling captures both progress and areas for improvement, turning raw knowledge into structured, actionable guidance. Reviewing journals regularly provides perspective, encourages accountability, and motivates continued application. Adopt the principle of learn, apply, refine. Learning becomes meaningful only when applied immediately. Application produces results, feedback, and understanding. Refinement based on experience ensures that knowledge evolves into skill. This cyclical process maximizes the value of learning and creates a powerful engine for personal development. Focus on skill building. Apply knowledge to develop tangible skills that enhance capability. Whether communication, problem solving, leadership, or technical expertise, intentional application converts information into competence. Each practical exercise reinforces learning and strengthens confidence in your abilities. Skills gained through active application become lasting assets. Make learning interactive. Engage with content by summarizing, questioning, and practicing concepts. Passive consumption is insufficient. Interaction ensures comprehension, retention, and readiness for real-world implementation. Engaged learning produces immediate behavioral change and accelerates mastery. Maintain balance between absorption and action. Ensure that time spent learning is proportionate to time spent applying. Too much learning without action leads to stagnation. Too much action without understanding leads to inefficiency. Balance creates synergy between knowledge acquisition and execution, producing meaningful and sustained progress. Commit to lifelong application. Learning is not a one-time event. Each new skill, insight, or concept should be integrated continuously into your life. Repeated, consistent application over time compounds into expertise, competence, and significant personal growth. Lifelong learning combined with immediate action produces exponential impact. By learning intentionally and applying knowledge immediately, you convert ideas into progress. Knowledge becomes a tool for transformation rather than an intellectual exercise. The process of acquiring, testing, reflecting, and refining ensures that learning produces measurable results. Each day you practice this approach, your skills, mindset, and effectiveness grow. Application makes knowledge alive, actionable, and impact. Through consistent practice, feedback, and refinement, your life evolves continuously, producing growth, achievement, and mastery that far surpasses passive accumulation of information.
Chapter 8. Surround yourself with those who challenge you to become better. The people you spend time with shape your mindset, habits, and outcomes more than almost anything else. Life is influenced by your environment, and the voices you hear daily affect your beliefs, decisions, and motivation. Surrounding yourself with individuals who challenge you to grow is one of the most effective strategies for accelerating personal development. These are people who hold higher standards, ask tough questions, push you beyond comfort, and inspire action. They do not enable excuses or allow stagnation. They expect more from you than you sometimes expect from yourself. Being around them expands your capacity, strengthens your discipline, and refines your vision for what is possible. The company you keep directly impacts your growth trajectory, your confidence, and the level of success you can achieve. The first step is awareness. Identify who influences you most in your daily life. Take a close look at friends, colleagues, mentors, and even casual acquaintances. Ask yourself, are they pushing me to grow or keeping me comfortable? Are they inspiring, constructive, and honest, or are they tolerating mediocrity and reinforcing complacency? Awareness allows you to recognize which relationships contribute positively and which silently drain energy or limit ambition. Once you see this clearly, you can make deliberate choices about whom to engage with consistently. Next, seek out people who embody the qualities you aspire to. Look for those who demonstrate resilience, intelligence, integrity, and action-oriented habits. These are individuals who set high standards for themselves and hold others accountable respectfully. Observing how they handle challenges, setbacks, and opportunities offers lessons that cannot be learned from books alone. Model their behaviors, learn from their approach, and adapt their strategies to your own life. Surrounding yourself with high performers creates a natural pull toward growth and excellence. Challenge is essential in these relationships. True growth does not occur in comfort. People who challenge you ask difficult questions, call out excuses, and encourage you to confront areas of weakness. They create friction that forces reflection and action. Their feedback may feel uncomfortable at times, but this discomfort is productive. It highlights blind spots, stretches abilities, and increases resilience. Without challenge, complacency creeps in, progress slows, and potential remains untapped. Embrace those who challenge you constructively as catalysts for growth. Reciprocity strengthens these connections. Engage with people who challenge you by contributing value in return. Support, advise, and push them to grow as well. Growth-focused relationships are symbiotic. Mutual accountability, encouragement, and challenge benefit everyone involved. By actively participating in the development of others, you deepen learning, expand perspective, and reinforce commitment to personal improvement. Relationships built on mutual growth create an environment where high standards are maintained naturally. Evaluate the influence of your social circles regularly. Over time, people change, and so do your goals. Some relationships may lose their positive impact, while new connections can be formed to align with current ambition. Regularly assess who encourages growth, who drains energy, and who reinforces your values. Make adjustments deliberately. Investing your time in those who challenge you maximizes the return on your relationships, strengthens your focus, and accelerates achievement. Mentorship is a powerful strategy. Seek individuals with more experience, knowledge, or skill in areas you aim to excel in. Mentors provide guidance, wisdom, and perspective that you cannot gain alone. They offer honest feedback, set expectations, and hold you accountable. The lessons they share, when applied, accelerate growth and reduce trial and error mistakes. Engaging with mentors strategically creates structured challenges and opportunities for deliberate learning. Group environments also influence growth. Participate in communities, workshops, or professional networks where high standards are expected. Being immersed in a culture of achievement naturally elevates your performance. Observe best practices, learn from successes and failures of others, and adopt behaviors that align with growth-focused norms. Peer pressure in a positive context becomes motivation, accountability, and a standard of excellence that reinforces your own commitment. Communication is key. People who challenge you do not always deliver feedback in a way that feels easy to hear. Learning to receive constructive criticism without defensiveness is essential. Listen actively, evaluate the advice objectively, and apply what is useful. Resisting criticism or dismissing feedback limits growth and prevents transformation. Embrace direct, honest, and constructive communication as a tool for rapid improvement. Set boundaries consciously. While challenging relationships are valuable, not everyone in your life should have this role. Limit exposure to people who consistently drain, distract, or demotivate you.
Protect your energy and focus for interactions that contribute positively. Strategic engagement ensures that your environment supports growth rather than impedes it. Boundaries are not rejection. They are intentional allocation of time, attention, and energy toward the people who accelerate your development. Celebrate progress within these relationships. Acknowledge feedback, guidance, and challenges that help you improve. Gratitude strengthens connections, encourages continued support, and reinforces mutual respect. Recognition of the value others bring to your growth solidifies a culture of accountability, learning, and achievement. Positive reinforcement keeps growth-oriented relationships active and productive over time. Adopt a mindset of learning from every interaction. Every conversation, collaboration, and challenge from those who push you contains a lesson. Approach relationships with curiosity, openness, and willingness to adapt. Avoid defensiveness or complacency. Treat each engagement as an opportunity to enhance skills, refine judgment, and expand perspective. Intentional learning from social influence transforms ordinary interactions into consistent growth experiences. Challenge yourself to contribute as much as you receive. Growth-focused relationships thrive when each party actively supports the other's development. Share insights, resources, and encouragement. Hold others accountable respectfully. By contributing to the growth of those around you, you reinforce your own habits, sharpen judgment, and deepen understanding of principle. Mutual challenge and support create a high-performance ecosystem where excellence is standard. Diversity strengthens learning. Seek challenges from people with different backgrounds, experiences, and perspectives. Exposure to varied thinking expands creativity, problem-solving, and adaptability. Engaging with diverse thinkers forces reconsideration of assumptions, stimulates innovation, and prevents stagnation. A network that challenges from multiple angles accelerates development far beyond a homogeneous group. Observe behaviors, not just advice. Individuals who challenge you demonstrate how to act, make decisions, and overcome obstacles. Watching actions in real scenarios provides practical lessons beyond theoretical knowledge. Emulate strategies that work, adapt those that suit your style, and avoid pitfalls demonstrated by others. Real-world observation complements feedback, enhancing the speed and quality of growth. Set goals collaboratively. Share your ambitions with those who challenge you and request their input. Their perspective often uncovers blind spots, offers new strategies, and ensures accountability. Collaborative goal setting produces clarity, actionable steps, and higher standards. It transforms aspirations into measurable objectives and aligns relationships with personal growth. Evaluate influence based on results. Consider how relationships affect behavior, mindset, and achievement. Positive influence should result in increased action, resilience, and growth. If consistent exposure does not elevate performance, reassess the connection. Protect time and energy for relationships that contribute meaningfully to personal and professional development. Encourage healthy competition. Constructive challenge often comes from a sense of accountability or friendly rivalry. Competing with peers who push standards higher motivates performance, reinforces discipline, and strengthens problem-solving. Competition with the right individuals fosters growth without negativity. Use competitive energy as a tool to improve skills, efficiency, and focus. Consistency matters in cultivating challenge. Growth is cumulative. Engage regularly with those who push your limits rather than sporadically. Continuous exposure to high standards reinforces habits, sharpens judgment, and strengthens discipline. Relationships that challenge must be maintained intentionally to produce long-term impact. Embrace discomfort within relationships. Feedback, challenge, and confrontation can feel uncomfortable, but these moments are where transformation occurs. Avoiding discomfort in social interactions. Avoiding discomfort in social interactions limits insight and development. Accepting discomfort as part of growth strengthens resilience, emotional intelligence, and self-awareness. Align values with challenging relationships. Growth is sustainable when the people you surround yourself with share core values, even if their methods push you outside comfort zones. Alignment ensures that influence is constructive rather than confusing or conflicting. Shared principles allow challenge to be productive and motivating rather than demoralizing. Protect your environment strategically. Beyond direct relationships, consider the culture, habits, and norms of the spaces you frequent. Being in environments that reinforce excellence, learning, and accountability magnifies the impact of challenging individuals. Environmental alignment ensures consistency and reduces resistance to high standards. Reflect on the lessons gained. Regularly consider how interactions with challenging people have influenced behavior, mindset, and results. Identify which feedback and actions have produced measurable growth. Reflection consolidates learning, reinforces habits, and informs future engagement. It ensures that relationships remain tools for development rather than mere social connections. Commit to long-term engagement. Relationships that challenge you are not temporary experiments. Sustained interaction over months and years compounds growth, sharpens skills, and reinforces resilience. Long-term engagement allows accountability, trust, and mutual understanding to mature, producing a consistently high standard of influence. Ultimately, surrounding yourself with people who challenge you creates a self-reinforcing cycle of improvement. Their standards push you to act. Their feedback informs better decisions, and their presence elevates your mindset. By intentionally choosing relationships that demand excellence, you accelerate personal development, expand capability, and cultivate a life of growth and achievement. Consistent engagement with challenge transforms potential into measurable progress and ensures that your life evolves continuously toward higher performance, stronger character, and greater success.
Chapter 9. Honor your commitments to yourself until they shape your identity. Your word to yourself is the foundation of your character and the blueprint for your life. Every commitment you make to yourself is a test of integrity, discipline, and self-respect. The most powerful transformations happen when you consistently honor these commitments, no matter how small, until they become part of who you are. Personal promises are not suggestions. They are contracts with the most important person in your life. When you follow through with discipline and consistency, these commitments shape your habits, decisions, and ultimately your identity. Ignoring promises erodes self-trust, weakens confidence, and sabotages potential. By honoring your word, you cultivate reliability, self-esteem, and momentum toward long-term success. The first step is clarity. Define the commitments that matter most. These may include daily routines, health goals, learning objectives, financial targets, or personal development habits. Be specific and realistic. Vague promises are easy to break because they lack measurable parameters. Clearly articulate what you intend to do, when, and how. The more precise your commitment, the easier it is to honor and integrate into daily life. Clarity transforms intention into actionable steps. Next, prioritize commitments based on impact. Not every promise carries equal weight. Focus on those that align most closely with your long-term vision, values, and goals. High-impact commitments produce significant results, strengthen discipline, and reinforce identity. By concentrating energy on promises that matter most, you prevent overwhelm, maximize growth, and ensure progress in critical areas. Each fulfilled promise reinforces a pattern of success that compounds over time. Consistency is essential. Honoring commitments requires repeated action. Small daily adherence builds momentum and embeds habits into your life. One missed action may seem insignificant,
but repeated inconsistency weakens trust in yourself. Approach each commitment as a non-negotiable task that contributes to personal evolution. Daily consistency, no matter how incremental, creates a strong foundation for identity formation and long-term achievement. Develop accountability systems, track progress, set reminders, and record outcomes. Accountability increases the likelihood of follow-through and highlights areas needing adjustment. Share intentions with mentors, peers, or supportive individuals who can reinforce commitment. External accountability complements internal discipline, ensuring that promises are taken seriously and executed effectively. Break commitments into actionable steps. Large promises can feel overwhelming, which makes them easier to neglect. Divide them into small, manageable actions that can be completed daily or weekly. Focus on executing these steps consistently. Achieving incremental actions reinforces confidence, strengthens discipline, and maintains motivation. Breaking commitments into practical steps ensures steady progress and prevents discouragement. Anticipate obstacles and plan for them. Challenges, distractions, and setbacks are inevitable. Anticipating barriers allows you to create strategies to maintain commitments despite adversity. Consider alternative actions, time adjustments, or contingency plans. Preparation ensures that temporary setbacks do not derail long-term adherence. Resilience in honoring commitments strengthens character and reinforces self-trust. Align commitments with values. Promises that reflect your true priorities are easier to sustain and more meaningful. When commitments are disconnected from personal values, motivation dwindles and adherence suffers. Evaluate whether your promises support your vision, principles, and goals. Alignment creates natural motivation and ensures that keeping your word contributes to identity rather than obligation. Monitor progress regularly. Review completed commitments, successes, and challenges. Reflection reinforces habits, identifies patterns of excellence or weakness, and provides insights for improvement. Observing growth fosters confidence and encourages continued adherence. Regular monitoring transforms abstract promises into tangible outcomes, reinforcing the link between action and identity. Reinforce discipline through self-respect. Each fulfilled commitment strengthens self-esteem and builds a reputation with yourself as someone reliable. When you honor promises consistently, you internalize standards of integrity and discipline. Self-respect grows, influencing all aspects of life, from decision-making to relationships, career, and personal development. Identity becomes increasingly aligned with consistency, responsibility, and competence. Avoid overcommitting. Making too many promises at once undermines the ability to honor any of them fully. Focus on fewer, high-value commitments that can be executed reliably. Overcommitment leads to stress, inconsistency, and erosion of trust in yourself. Strategic selection ensures that each promise receives sufficient attention, effort, and focus to become part of your identity. Embrace incremental progress. Not every commitment will be fulfilled perfectly immediately. Focus on steady improvement and adherence over time. Each action, repetition, and correction reinforces discipline. Gradual progress compounds into skill, reliability, and habit formation, ultimately shaping identity. Patience and persistence are essential for sustainable transformation. Use positive reinforcement. Celebrate adherence to commitments, milestones, and consistency. Recognition of efforts strengthens motivation, reinforces behavior, and encourages continued follow-through. Rewarding yourself appropriately enhances engagement and commitment to personal promises, making the process enjoyable and reinforcing identity transformation. Learn from lapses without self-punishment. Occasional failures are inevitable. Instead of guilt or shame, analyze what caused the lapse and implement corrective measures. Adjust routines, environments, or strategies to prevent recurrence. Constructive response to mistakes preserves momentum, reinforces learning, and strengthens commitment over time. Self-compassion, combined with accountability, ensures sustainable adherence. Embed commitments into routines. Habits simplify consistency. Integrate promises into daily rituals to reduce decision fatigue and ensure automatic adherence. Routine reinforces behavior, making it natural to honor commitments without excessive mental effort. When habits align with promises, identity is shaped seamlessly through repeated action. Visualize outcomes. Imagine the impact of fulfilling commitments on your life, skills, and sense of self. Visualization strengthens motivation, clarifies purpose, and reinforces determination. Seeing yourself as someone who honors promises creates mental alignment with desired identity, making consistent follow-through more likely. Strengthen resilience through challenging, honoring commitments during difficulty tests, discipline, focus, and determination. Overcoming obstacles while keeping promises reinforces identity, builds confidence, and develops grit. Adversity is a proving ground that transforms intention into ingrained character. Each challenge faced and commitment upheld amplifies personal strength and reliability. Maintain flexibility without compromise. Circumstances change, and rigid adherence may sometimes require adjustment. Adapt methods or timing while preserving the core intention of the commitment. Flexibility ensures sustainability while maintaining integrity. The ability to adjust without abandoning promises demonstrates maturity, strategic thinking, and self-respect. Hold yourself accountable to your future self. Consider how adherence or neglect of commitments affects long-term goals and identity. Viewing promises as obligations to your future self strengthens motivation, encourages discipline, and fosters decisions that prioritize growth. Accountability to the person you aim to become ensures commitment remains meaningful and consistent. Seek inspiration from role models. Observe individuals who consistently honor commitments and witness how it shapes their identity. Analyze their methods, mindset, and strategy. Apply lessons to your own life to enhance adherence, reinforce discipline, and accelerate personal development. Learning from examples provides guidance and motivation for sustainable practice. Document commitments and progress. Writing down promises and tracking completion increases clarity, accountability, and visibility. Documentation allows reflection, assessment, and strategic adjustment. The act of recording transforms intangible intentions into concrete actions, reinforcing connection between commitment and identity. Strengthen mental focus through prioritization. Decide which commitments matter most daily and allocate energy accordingly. Avoid dispersing attention across low-value obligations that dilute effort. Focus ensures that promises receive the necessary attention, effort, and follow-through to shape identity effectively. Internalize success habits. Treat commitments as non-negotiable standards. Integrate them into lifestyle, decision-making, and behavior. Over time, fulfillment of promises becomes instinctive, reinforcing identity as a disciplined, reliable, and high-performing individual. Internalization reduces reliance on external motivation and fosters intrinsic drive. Leverage social accountability. Sharing commitments with supportive peers or mentors reinforces follow-through. External observation and encouragement increase responsibility, motivation. Social reinforcements strengthens the link between promises and identity, enhancing the likelihood of consistent execution. Reflect on long-term impact. Consider how daily adherence to commitments accumulates into skills, reputation, and character over months and years. The cumulative effect transforms habits into identity and intention into tangible life outcomes. Long-term perspective strengthens commitment and motivates consistent action. By honoring commitments to yourself consistently, you forge a life defined by integrity, discipline, and self-respect. Each promise kept strengthens habits, shapes character, and builds the identity of someone capable, reliable, and intentional. Repetition and consistency convert intention into reality, producing measurable growth, trust in self, and resilience. Your word becomes unbreakable, your discipline becomes instinct, and your identity reflects the standards you uphold. Commitment to yourself is the ultimate leverage for personal development, ensuring that every decision, action, and habit contributes to becoming the person you aspire to be.
Chapter 10. Reflect and adjust your actions to stay aligned with growth. Growth does not happen by chance. It happens by design, and one of the most important tools for designing your life is reflection. Taking the time to honestly assess your actions, decisions, and habits is what separates people who drift through life from those who advance with purpose. Reflection is not about judgment or self-criticism. It is about clarity, insight, and understanding where you are in relation to where you want to be. Without reflection, it is easy to repeat mistakes, stay stuck in ineffective routines, and miss opportunities for improvement. To grow consistently, you must regularly evaluate your behavior and adjust your actions so that every step you take contributes to your goals. Aligning your daily decisions with your long-term growth ensures that effort compounds over time rather than dissipates into meaningless activity. The first step is conscious observation. Pay attention to your daily choices and behaviors. Look at how you spend your time, what habits dominate your routine, and which actions produce results versus those that waste energy. Honest observation provides the foundation for meaningful adjustment. Ask yourself, are my actions moving me closer to my goals or further away? Clarity begins with noticing patterns and understanding their consequences. Only by seeing what is actually happening can you make informed decisions about what needs to change. Next, create a structured time for reflection. Daily or weekly check-ins with yourself allow consistent assessment of progress. This can be as simple as reviewing completed tasks, evaluating whether goals were advanced, or considering emotional and mental states throughout the week. Regular reflection prevents small issues from becoming entrenched habits and ensures that you remain proactive rather than reactive. Treat reflection as a non-negotiable part of your growth routine. Focus on outcomes, not effort alone. It is possible to be busy without making progress. Evaluate results objectively. Did the actions you took produce measurable improvement? Did they enhance skills, relationships, or your personal well-being? Being honest about outcomes ensures that reflection translates into actionable insight. Progress is determined by impact, not just activity. Identify patterns and trends. Look for repeated behaviors that either support or hinder growth. Recognize which routines produce consistent success and which lead to stagnation or setbacks. Patterns reveal leverage points, actions or habits that, when adjusted, can significantly enhance results. Trends show the trajectory of progress over time and indicate whether current strategies remain effective. By understanding patterns and trends, you gain the insight needed to make precise adjustments. Ask difficult questions. Effective reflection requires honesty and courage. Question assumptions, habits, and decisions. Consider, am I avoiding necessary challenges? Am I prioritizing what truly matters? Am I compromising values or settling for mediocrity? These questions expose areas that need change and spark meaningful growth. Avoiding tough questions delays improvement and allows complacency to take hold. Document insights and lessons. Writing reflections down captures your thoughts, patterns, and conclusions. A journal or log allows tracking of progress, identification of recurring challenges, and reinforcement of key learnings. Documented insights make it easier to revisit decisions, evaluate progress over time, and implement adjustments effectively. Writing also reinforces commitment to change by making reflections tangible and actionable. Adjust strategies based on reflection. Reflection without action is wasted time. Use insights gained to modify routines, behaviors, and approaches. Replace unproductive habits with actions that align more closely with your growth objective. Adapt methods, refine priorities, and eliminate distractions or practices that impede progress. Adjustment ensures that reflection results in forward movement rather than passive observation. Incorporate flexibility. Growth is not linear, and what works today may not work tomorrow. Be willing to adjust plans and strategies as circumstances change. Adaptation is a sign of intelligence and resilience, not weakness. Flexible adjustment allows you to maintain alignment with goals while responding effectively to new challenges or opportunities. Growth requires both stability in direction and flexibility in execution. Seek feedback from others. Outside perspectives can reveal blind spots that personal reflection may miss. Mentors, peers, or trusted advisors provide constructive insight into your actions and outcomes. Use feedback to supplement your own observations, validate conclusions, and identify areas needing improvement. Combining self-reflection with external input accelerates learning and ensures more accurate alignment with growth objectives. Measure progress quantitatively when possible. Set specific metrics to track improvement in areas like productivity, health, skill development, or financial goals. Quantitative feedback provides clear indicators of whether adjustments are effective. Regular measurement enables informed decision-making, encourages accountability, and demonstrates tangible growth over time. Metrics allow you to see progress clearly and remain motivated. Prioritize high-impact adjustments. Not every observation requires change. Focus on adjustments that produce the greatest return on effort and directly support long-term objectives. Prioritizing high-impact changes prevents overwhelm, ensures efficient use of time and energy, and drives meaningful progress. Strategic action is more powerful than indiscriminate effort. Balance reflection with forward momentum. Reflection should inform action without becoming a source of stagnation. Avoid over-analyzing or ruminating. Use reflection as a tool to guide decisions, set priorities, and refine actions, but always maintain forward movement. Growth requires both insight and execution. Reflection without action is wasted potential, and action without reflection risks repeated mistakes. Cultivate self-awareness, deep understanding of emotions, motivations, and thought patterns enhances reflection. Recognize how feelings influence decisions, habits, and responses to challenges. Awareness allows more precise adjustments and stronger alignment with goals. Emotional insight ensures that reflection addresses both internal and external factors that affect growth. Anticipate obstacles in advance. Reflection helps identify potential barriers before they become issues. Plan contingencies, alternative strategies, or coping mechanisms for anticipated challenges. Preparing proactively increases resilience, reduces reactionary stress, and ensures continuity of growth despite setbacks. Effective reflection includes forward thinking as well as retrospective analysis. Celebrate small improvements.
Reflection highlights progress that might otherwise go unnoticed. Acknowledging small victories reinforces motivation, strengthens habits, and provides evidence that adjustments are working. Recognizing growth maintains engagement and confidence in the process, creating a positive feedback loop that supports continued improvement. Integrate reflection into daily routines. Short, focused moments of review at the end of each day create habit and consistency. Consider what went well, what could be improved, and what actions to take tomorrow. Daily reflection keeps goals fresh, identifies small course corrections early, and reinforces alignment with growth. Habitual reflection transforms insight into continuous improvement. Challenge assumption. Growth often stalls when beliefs or approaches are outdated. Reflection allows you to question long-held ideas and practices. Evaluate whether current strategies are effective, ethical, and aligned with goals. Adjust beliefs or behaviors that limit progress. Questioning assumptions prevents stagnation and encourages innovation in personal and professional life. Link reflection to accountability. Hold yourself responsible for implementing adjustments identified during reflection. Accountability ensures that insights lead to action rather than remain abstract concepts. Track follow-through, review results, and refine continuously. Linking reflection to accountability creates discipline, consistency, and measurable impact. Use reflection to refine priorities. Assess whether current activities, commitments, and habits support long-term growth. Eliminate distractions, adjust focus, and reallocate resources to high-value areas. Prioritization ensures that energy is spent on actions with maximum effect, enhancing overall progress. Reflection without adjustment of priorities risks wasted effort and diluted results. Integrate reflection into decision-making. Before making significant choices, pause to consider how each option aligns with long-term growth objectives. Evaluate potential consequences, trade-offs, and alignment with values. Reflection as part of decision-making increases clarity, reduces impulsivity, and ensures actions remain consistent with goals. Revisit long-term goals regularly. Reflection allows assessment of whether current trajectory aligns with desired outcomes. Adjust strategies to correct deviations, accelerate progress, or refine objectives. Regularly revisiting goals ensures that daily actions remain connected to overarching vision, and that growth remains intentional rather than accidental. Practice humility during reflection. Accept that mistakes, inefficiencies, or blind spots are part of growth. Approach reflection with openness and willingness to change. Humility enables honest evaluation, prevents defensiveness, and fosters continuous improvement. Recognizing limitations is the first step toward overcoming them. Develop an action plan after reflection. Identify specific steps to implement insights, refine behaviors, and optimize routines. Break adjustments into actionable tasks with deadlines or checkpoints. A clear plan transforms abstract insight into concrete progress. Execution ensures that reflection produces measurable results rather than passive understanding. Monitor emotional and mental alignment. Reflection should assess not only productivity but also mental state, emotional health, and motivation. Aligning actions with well-being and mindset ensures sustainable growth. Adjust behaviors, routines, or habits that undermine emotional resilience or focus. Holistic reflection ensures balanced, long-term development. Embrace continuous improvement. Reflection is not a one-time exercise. Make it a lifelong practice to regularly evaluate, adjust, and refine your actions. Incremental improvements accumulate into significant growth, enhanced skills, and a strong sense of self-efficacy. Commitment to continuous reflection ensures sustained progress over time. Recognize the power of compounding adjustments. Small, consistent improvements, identified through reflection,
accumulate exponentially. Even minor refinements in habits, routines, or mindset compound into substantial gain. Consistently reflecting and adjusting magnifies results far beyond isolated effort. By reflecting and adjusting your actions continuously, you maintain alignment with personal growth and long-term objectives. Reflection provides clarity, insight, and awareness, while adjustment ensures that knowledge translates into effective action. The combination of honest assessment, strategic adaptation, and consistent implementation creates a self-reinforcing system of growth. Daily evaluation, planning, and refinement keep you focused on meaningful improvement, strengthen habits, and produce measurable results. Over time, this practice transforms potential into performance, intention into skill, and effort into a life defined by progress, capability, and sustained achievement.